This is George Boston Rhynes and my friend John Robinson. I address Valdosta City Council on behalf of a white Caucasian lady that was allegedly injured in the Lowndes County Jail and placed in ICU. The mother called me once she found out where her daughter was, and that was in South Georgia Medical Center. What you're about to hear is my presentation before Mayor John Freddy and our elected officials concerning this jail inmate and others. And as usual, they did not respond to me, nor did Valdosta television, newspapers, and radio stations say a word about this to the general public. This is what I mean when I say that the people in Valdosta is suffering from the lack of news media coverage of what happens at public meetings here in the state of Georgia. And next you will hear John Robinson address the economically oppressed people, and our local news media outlets apparently does not want that either published to the people of Valdosta, Lowndes County, South Georgia, and the American people in general. But we are determined, by the grace of Almighty God, to do what Jesus will be pleased with. Hear ye the truth.
Rhynes, 52045, Valdosta, Georgia. I come up here a lot concerning what I'm about to talk about, but I will assure you, then council, that if this did not happen, this event, different items had not taken place, I wouldn't be here. If this white lady here, whose teeth was knocked out, I stood before you all 3 times. If her teeth was not knocked out, if this gouges was not on her leg, one of her legs, on both of her legs, she gave me this picture about 2 weeks ago. And if she hadn't come to me, I wouldn't be here today. And I've told you all about that 3 times, and the Valdosta Daily Times and our television station. Nobody seems to care about people in our jail. But in 1989, some courageous citizen filed a lawsuit in federal court. Judge Lawson found 103 violations in our jail. Gave 2 years for the county to come in compliance. In September the 2nd, 1998, 2,000 people came together. These are covered articles wherein this outraged citizen wanted changes in the jail. We wanted people, black and white, to stop having their teeth knocked out and going from the jail to the ICU without the family, the mother and father ever knowing about it. So we marched and we protested. And we was criticized for it. But this white lady here was in jail last year, South Georgia Medical Center, pronounced her dead for 20 minutes. She was arrested again, which most of the charges was dropped because she was weaving. Her mother called me. She'd been in jail for about 3 weeks. Her mother said to me, "George, did you and NAACP, a civil rights organization, go and bail out my daughter?" I said, "No, ma'am." She said, "We don't know where she is. They released her from the jail. We don't know where she is." I was out at Moody working on the computer. She said to me, "Well, I'm going to call the hospitals in the area." She called the hospitals, found out she was in South Georgia Medical Center. She had been in ICU for 3 days. They moved her from ICU to room 447. She said, "George, will you go with me to the hospital to see her?" Never called to tell her that her daughter was in ICU. I talked to another young man on Labor Day. Told me the same thing happened to him in this regard. They took him from the jail to the hospital in ICU, 7 days in ICU. None of his family members was called. They didn't know nothing about it, just like this woman's mother didn't know anything about it. So it seemed like to me after 20 years or more, we still have the same problems. Now I know you're asking me, Brother Rhynes, or Mr. Rhynes, why don't you take that to the county commissioners? Well, I talk to inmates from time to time. They tell me most people in the jail are from the city. And I went to the county commission, by the way, too. These are letters that I received from people. Now, if I had not received these letters over the years, I wouldn't be here today. Everything that I've talked about right now, I wouldn't be here. If I came up here without this information, without the concerns of black and white right people, I wouldn't be here. I would look like a fool coming up before city council to present something and didn't have nothing from anybody. Now, when Judge Hugh Lawson ruled in his case, this case in 1997, at that time, we only had 3 people that had died in the jail dating from 1994. That was Willard McFarland, Willie Lee Gay, Ian Starling. Now, Willie James Williams died in 98. Now, so the judge, the federal judge say, make those corrections. Now, if somebody had followed up on that court order, just maybe these 26 people, alleged 26 people here, some of them, all of them might not have died. I wrote the DA in 2003, and I asked whoever complied with that court order. I got no response, and still haven't gotten a response. So I have nothing to do but to wonder, how could it be that in 2010 we are still facing, seem like everybody have forgotten these people except the little fool called George Boston Rhynes. It hurts me. It's not a black or white thing. It's a right thing. The judge ruled in this order. A white friend of mine gave this to me around 99. I knew nothing about it. So I'm glad that a lot of white people feel some pain for their neighbors, like I feel. So I'm going to close this off with this remark to the council. After 20 years, citizens have been ignored, much by the media. That's the TV stations, newspapers, and radio. You see, when I talked about this lady 3 different occasions, no citizen outside of this meeting know anything about it, because the Times or ABC, and nobody says anything about it. You all have heard me say it over and over again. I'm going to say it until something happens. Somebody is trying to keep the citizens of Valdosta and Lowndes County deaf, dumb, and blind to the times, and unable to make intelligent decisions based on facts, because they ain't giving them to us. So people don't know nothing about this lady here and her mother. I go to see her, see how she's doing. Don't even have much. She don't even have a job. She's unemployed. They live in an old beat-up trailer. But nobody seems to care anymore about nobody. So now in conclusion, I say to this council, you as elected officials, and this goes for the county too, I'm going to address the county, although I know it won't do no good, because that's been the case for all two decades. But I want to say to you, as elected officials, we can dress and look professional. We are not who we claim to be, but we are who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. Thank you.